Did the Bidens coerce the Burisma CEO to pay them millions of dollars to help Ukraine, to help get a Ukraine prosecutor fired? I mean, I think so. The FBI's form, FD 1023, certainly outlines it. Chuck Grassley released it. We just talked about it. Well, now we're going to talk to a real expert who can share with us some insights into it. He's a lead counsel with the National Legal and Policy Center. Let's welcome Paul Kamenar to the program. And Paul, how are you, sir? Good morning.
Thank you, Jeff. Glad to be here.
So we've got a scandal that's brewing. Seems to be getting worse all the time. Of course, the mainstream news media is not covering it. We're covering it. I think it's incredibly important. What did the disclosure of the FD 1023 this week tell you, Paul?
Yeah, well, that's just one of a dozen or so criminal violations going on. The FD 1023, and thank God that Grassley released. Excuse me, Jeff. But it's basically outlines a solicitation of a bribe from Hunter Biden to the Burisma executive for money for him and his dad, and it's extortion. And if the money was paid, then it's an actual bribe. But under the federal criminal law, just a solicitation of it warrants that. And if this is true, then clearly Joe Biden needs to be impeached, because this is clearly a high crime and misdemeanor. But
right. Now, I've been waiting for him to be impeached from day one. I mean, I've outlined all sorts of reasons why he should be impeached. This is just the latest. I doubt the courage of the Republicans to move forward on this, even with the mounting evidence. But I think you're right. This is another reason why he should be impeached. I mean, we're talking about bribery. The gentleman at the time was vice president, right, Paul, when this happened?
Right, exactly. Yeah, so this was clearly from the higher ups. And this is, by the way, the company that Hunter Biden was bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars in income for not doing anything. And he did report the money he came in 2014 on his income tax. I mean, it was incredible. You watched the hearings
right.
The other day with the two IRS special
right.
agents.
I did.
Outlining chapter and verse everything that Hunter Biden did. I mean, just to starters, the prosecutors said in Delaware, I have absolute authority to prosecute Hunter on anything and anywhere, etc. And then he walked it back
right.
in another letter to Congressman Jim Jordan. And then there was a third letter where he waffled on that. And here you had Merrick Garland
right.
said, oh, no, he's got more authority than a special counsel. And you had the IRS specify that there were a memo in 2022, a 99-page memo saying, here are the felony and misdemeanor tax violations to prosecute. And what did they do? They dropped that. They let the statute of limitations go by.
Right.
Here you have Hunter Biden taking deductions, business deductions. Go ahead.
Paul, in my view, he's the most privileged white man in America, Hunter Biden, and certainly Joe Biden is as well. And of course, they were deducting dues to sex clubs and payments to prostitutes. Right. I mean, nobody else could get away with this. So back to this whole double standard. So, they're getting all these breaks. Their attorney is limited in what he can do, the special U.S. attorney. Obviously doesn't have full range to investigate. Now we're getting all these allegations that are in this FD 1023 alleging more bribery. But didn't Joe Biden admit it in a meeting before the Council on Foreign Relations back in 2018? Didn't he clearly say, hey, I told him to fire the prosecutor. You wouldn't be getting your $1 billion loan guarantee. And that son of a B, he was fired. I mean, didn't he admit it back then?
Well, not only did he admit it, he bragged about it. He was saying, "Look what I did," and I mean, this is a crime taking place in real time and full view of the public. So, what this has to be further investigated, and like you said, impeachment. But next week there is a hearing before the federal judge in Delaware whether to accept this slap on the wrist plea bargain with Hunter Biden to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanors on tax and 1 on a gun
Well,
charge where he lied on his form. And that's just a miscarriage
here's
of justice.
I'm wondering whether we can get justice in blue states. I mean, I'm wondering, you say it's in Delaware. I mean, I wonder what kind of justice we're going to get there. I see what President Trump is getting in D.C. and in New York, and it looks like in Fulton County, Georgia, that's going to be coming. It just makes me worry about what kind of system of justice we have in our country anymore. I mean, I've got no faith in the system, Paul.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. And every day you see a two-tiered system of justice where the liberal Democrats get a free pass and they throw the book at Donald Trump for everything he does, regardless of whether it violates the law or not. They're just piling on because we know this would not have been done if he wasn't running for president. It's clear as day. So this is a political prosecution that's going on.
Now, as President Trump faces more charges in Georgia, more charges on January 6th, charges on classified documents, charges in New York involving the Stormy Daniels case, ridiculous. What is the special counsel doing that's investigating Biden's handling of classified documents, where it was stored at a center that was funded by the Chinese, where he had boxes next to his Corvette, where he had materials all over the place, and that he took when he was senator and vice president, didn't have authority. Where is this investigation? It sounds like it's in a comatose state.
Exactly. It's Robert Hur, who's, all we hear is crickets from him about what's going on. But you're right. There were classified documents at the Biden Center here in D.C., at his garage and other places. And, his attorneys said, we cooperated with the FBI, but the FBI wasn't satisfied with them turning it over. They had to go in and look for themselves and got more documents. So they were, Biden people were still stonewalling. Even they were saying, we are transparent. Total nonsense.
Well, what's also a double standard is Biden's home wasn't raided. You didn't have gun-toting agents go in there in the middle of the night and prevent Biden's attorneys from being part of the observation. So, again, the double standard is just off the charts. Paul Kamenar, thank you, sir. Thank you for the work you're doing. Thank you for the great activities of the National Legal and Policy Center. We appreciate it very much.